Welcome, self-educated entrepreneur. Today I want to talk about manufacturing and how these communities here where I'm at in the Midwest want to build themselves back up. Now, I'm in Michigan, and of course, you know, all the surrounding states has been very blue-collar manufacturing in the heart of the United States for many decades. Therefore, we already have 52 Chinese companies established here in Michigan. As you know, we've seen over the past, in my lifetime, 4 or 5 decades of manufacturing being pushed out to other countries, Mexico to overseas. And an article that got brought across me was this EV battery company that wants to establish a 500-acre manufacturing in Big Rapids, Michigan, and that's a Gotion battery company. Now, it's on hold right now, and as I looked into the articles, I was going to do a segment on this last week, but I said I need to dig a little deeper, and I did, and what it came down to was a couple things I saw that I would say we need more information and more transparency from the company. Even though it's a North American operation, the concern is this. People are concerned with its ties with the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party. The head of, or the president of its North American operations is saying, no, there's no affiliation. They want to know is if the parties involved are independent international business, or are their shareholders tied to the CCP on behind the scenes on this battery company. And so Michigan, its legislator and appropriations committees are looking more into this. So they have put aside, Michigan has a $1.6 billion pool to help incentivize companies to compete for the surrounding states, to incentivize these companies to come to Michigan to set up shop, to give them tax breaks and things of the nature. So they put that on hold, the money put aside, and I think it was like $174 million or something. So let me take a look here. I do have my notes. But I've been reading these articles over and over and just trying to piece it together. So what they're basically asking for is they want more information. They want more insight. And they're saying, no, we're good. There's no ties to the CCP. But I think people are seeing that there could be a toxic backlash on this in the future if they don't vet these companies very well. Now, remember, we are, there is definitely buzz going around about being at war with China, especially with them approaching Taiwan. But long before all this geopolitics has been going on, we have already been at economic warfare with them for years, because they've slowly been, ramping up to take us down, and they're doing it more through economic war than conventional war. And to say that is to say that what they're doing is they're coming in and setting up businesses here, and they're doing it in the sense of using our own laws against us. So to buy land and set shop up, and all the business activities and economics of it, they all need to report back to the CCP at some point, and that's where this Gotion battery plant, this is what they don't want happening. So at first I was like, this would be very beneficial. This plant would bring, in a small rural town, 2,350 jobs, and I said, boy, this is really great. It looks good when you're looking at the front side of it. And I said, oh man, this looks great. This could really help the community out. But I said, you know what? Instead of reporting on this, let me look more into it. And I was very amazed with the fact that many people got on top of this and said, we need to have more transparency from the company to know who's on the back side of this before they allow the money to be appropriated out for them to go forward and set up shop. So they're looking to set up shop in Green Charter Township. They were going to also involve Big Rapids Township, but they said they could do it all on one township parcel of land in an industrial park up there. Many concerns in the community. It's a 50-50 split right now. A lot of people are for it, but the ones against it, a lot of them are long-standing residents that are very complacent in their ways there, not really wanting much in change. They like the way the community's going. The other concern was people were concerned of the town. There is a college there, Ferris State University, and you know, they definitely get an influx of students coming and going all year long. But one of the residents did say the influx would be is people moving there to seek employment with this may change the character of the community, and I definitely could agree with that. But you know, because when you look at, and I think this will be a video we need to talk about, is when people leave a state, and let's just put it out there, California and or New York, when they move to another state to seek better, not only employment, but better standards of living, because they're getting pushed out for high cost of living. And just remember, it's the way you vote that what you bring into that. And if you find yourself, I can't sustain being here anymore for policies, laws, and cost of living, you know, just remember, you may, when you leave that area to go to another neutral area that feels more warm, homey and all that, and more sustainable, don't bring that toxicity there. And that's what they don't want coming to the community. Therefore, I then look back over to the representatives and the appropriations committee, and they're basically wanting to have this project's on hold. They definitely want to have more transparency from the company and from their sister parent company is Gotion High Tech, which is a CCP company, and so they are like sister companies. So they're like, all right, so what happens if the shareholders of that company may have ties into with this Gotion EV plan? So that's what they want to make sure before they sign off on that. But I am all for progress and growing a community with business, and I understand that not all small businesses can sustain a community, that you are going to have a larger scale like this of manufacturing that's going to bring international business and money from the outside in. You can't keep the same money circulating within the community, that sometimes you need to trade that, you know, you got to have that international, you know, that trade coming and going out of the community to help it grow. But I think people have grown wise and smart to say, before we just sign off on this stuff, what will it bring? Not only to just say the quick fix for here and now, but what will this do for us if we sign off on it in 5, 10, 20 years from now? Will we lose our stature as a community? Will things get rewritten, policies, laws, because this company tied in with a different type of party from a different country dictate to us by using our laws against us, that we may have to flip the script and be of something else? So this is why it is so important right now. Yes, we do need to be very diligent as on a local, state, and federal level to vet these companies. And yes, we need to bring manufacturing back, but it's not going to happen overnight. There's so much red tape that needs to be involved in getting them here. Should we just say no, shut the door, and turn them away? Absolutely not. but let them present what they can put on the table. Let's look it over and see what may be missing to know more about it, so we know what this may entail in the long run. Like I said, in decades to come. We have definitely seen the auto industry here in this state spit out, on the east side, spit out depression, decimating towns like Detroit, Pontiac, Flint, Saginaw, that put all their eggs in a basket on one entity, the auto manufacturing. And when they pulled out and left or shut, closed shop, it left these cities financially ruined. And I think that's a lesson learned, especially here in Michigan, to say people are being more cautious about what this could be on the backlash. So I support that, but I also support, I'm not against, international company, but definitely don't want the CCP to come in and start dictating, we're there, we're embedded, you agreed to this. So they come in and they start pushing, using our laws to push their ways, their thinking, and their political party agenda on us. So that's what the people's concerns are. But I definitely want I want to get this message out there. There's manufacturing coming, but a lot of it is coming from that part of the world. And we definitely have to be cautious about not just opening our doors and letting them in without looking on the back end of it. They are also proposing a battery plant, not of a large scale, but over in Novi, Michigan. So they're looking to make, Gotion's looking to make 2 battery plants. And when I looked into it, Ford is also getting pushed back because in Marshall, Michigan, they're looking to make a substantial large manufacturing plant there, but they're also seeing the same backlash, similarities. So therefore, there's a lot of this tech in manufacturing and tech sectors coming, just like they've been preaching about the chip plants coming. But we have to be very diligent on what we're bringing in and what it may cause us in the long run, to where would we feel that these companies will be able to use our laws and imprison us, at that job or within our communities. So we don't want them to have the upper hand. We still want to be able to exercise our sovereign rights, liberties through our Constitution. So I am going to, still look at this and see if this will eventually evolve, get signed off, and move forward, or if it's just going to be like, it's not going to go through. The company decided not to expose itself with the information that is being asked for. So just keep in mind, this stuff's coming, but don't think this is going to happen overnight and jobs are going to pop up tomorrow. It's going to take through this decade. We're at April of 2023. It's going to take the next 7 years. We're going to hit economic downturns and hard times before we can lift ourselves up. We have pushed ourselves, all of our manufacturing, over to other countries, and shame on us for doing that. But we have evolved to a first world country where we just had high expectations of the standard of living. Our standard of living is going to drop down to a second world country regardless. And we're going to have to get back to rolling our sleeves up and getting back to work. And it's just going to take a while because we have such a generation of soft men or soft people that just don't want to work. They want the entitlements. They want the handouts. They don't want to do anything in return for it because they feel the entitlement that they should get it. And they're using that and the cultural, their cultural sense, the race sense to push to get all these handouts. At some point, everything's going to get lost because we're going to go bankrupt as a country, and they're not going to be able to fund all this stuff. And eventually, you're just going to have to put that stuff aside. You're going to have to work with each other, get along, and we're just going to have to endure getting in the trenches and building this country up. But I can't say any more than that. It's a subject I've already, on the tail end here, I've already talked about trigger points that will just infuriate people. But hey, I'm sorry, but I'm a hard-working person. I'm not afraid to work holidays, weekends, and after hours and late nights. But that's me. But I am going to put food on the table. I am going to be sustaining in life because I'm putting an effort in every day. I don't want no handouts. I don't want nothing from the government. I want less government. Absolutely zero government involved in any parts of our lives. That's me, and that's where I come from. And I can be very much sustainable and taking care of myself. I don't need that help. Whether it's government, family, or friends, I'll take care of me. But you know, this is where we need to understand this manufacturing coming in. People are going to need jobs. There are people willing to work out there, but jobs are getting very selected. The higher percentage of jobs out there are service sector jobs. How many housekeeping in hotels to waiters and bartenders and restaurant wait staff? How many, you know, of those jobs? How many of those are you going to have through the week? You're going to have to work at 3 different places just to make ends meet. I don't know, but this is going to be one way for people to have a sustainable living with benefits is manufacturing jobs like this. So if we can get past this and hopefully it signs off as a good thing, I'm hoping to report back on that Gotion battery plant and have better news. Hopefully they don't lose that incentive to have them come in. But if it doesn't, then obviously there was something on the back end that would not be well off for the community in the long run. So until next time, stay safe, continuing educating yourself, self-educated entrepreneur.